Michael Skaff is the CIO of the San Francisco Symphony, where he oversees the enterprise-wide technology strategy for one of the Bay Area's largest nonprofit organizations. From startups to multi-billion-dollar enterprises, Mr. Skaff has a distinguished record of building high-performance teams in strategy, development, operations, IT, and consulting across an array of industries including retail, high-tech, consulting, and nonprofit.
Okay, so Michael, thanks very much for joining us here. You're the CIO of the San Francisco Symphony, very popular brand here in the city, and you face challenges that are not unlike the challenges that a lot of CIOs in Information Week's audience face. We heard today from people who are wrestling with the idea of the consumerization of IT. We also have people who are using social networks to get their brands out there. We heard from Google a little bit about that. So when it comes to those different technologies, how do you use them, leverage them to make the San Francisco Symphony more successful than it already is?
It's a great question. In a lot of ways, we use these technologies in the same ways other businesses do. We use mobile for our sales force. We use social to do outreach for our patrons and get our brand out there. It's a lot of the same challenges that other IT shops face on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm. You heard Ricard Steibel talking a little bit about why Google Plus is really a good solution for businesses that are looking to get more reach, engage with their customers, their audiences. Was that a compelling argument there? Do you work with Google Plus? Is it something that you pay a lot of attention to, or is it something that you're waiting for more traction?
You're on Google Plus.
I am indeed. We connected today. You're in my circle. But
I don't want to know which circle.
That's him personally, though, not with the Symphony.
Yes,
so,
right.
Correct.
So is the San Francisco Symphony on Google Plus?
The Symphony has adopted sort of a wait-and-see approach. We are looking at Google Plus from the business perspective, but we've been an early adopter across the board for a lot of different social networks. We were an early adopter of the Ning platform back in the day. We built our own social network on that. We were an early adopter of Facebook, Twitter. We've done a lot of work with Twitter. We actually projected people's tweets in larger-than-life size letters up on the side of City Hall for our last black and white ball. So we really are trying our best to get out there and really connect with our audience in new and interesting ways.
I know you're certainly with a consumer audience coming to your all of the concerts. Mm-hmm. You're very concerned about consumerization of IT. You heard the mobile device management debate. What are some of your thoughts coming out of that?
Well, we're actually currently a good customer, and we've been a good customer, I think, for longer than Mobile Iron has been around. But that said, they have a very compelling argument too. So as an IT professional, I'm going to be looking to see what Mobile Iron has to offer. Good does, as you said, a good job of addressing some of the challenges that we deal with, whether it's data leakage prevention, just basic mobile messaging, a lot of the standard challenges, but there's some interesting new challenges that are emerging with the acceleration of these new platforms coming out, as both of them mentioned, that we're keeping a close eye on. So trying to see which platform or which software solution will really win out.
What sort of technologies are your users bringing in and expecting, in the true bring your own device fashion? What are they bringing into the Symphony?
Well, we took a look last week or a couple of weeks ago at the Fire, just to see what that might offer us. We've had a couple of iPads running around for a while. We have 3 different mobile operating systems in our enterprise right now, so we really are seeing a lot of, at least on the mobile side, a lot of what everybody else is seeing.
You've been able to keep it all locked down?
For the time being, yes, but it's always a challenge.
And what about, the Symphony itself is a venue.
Yes.
And you have people coming in.
Yes.
What about their ability to engage over your technology that's in the room in a way that increases the overall community feeling of the Symphony, which is really important, right?
That's a really great question. We're actually evolving fairly rapidly, actually, right now, our perspective on this matter, because for a long time we considered sacrosanct the experience of sitting in the Symphony Hall, watching the performance. For the first time this summer, we will allow people in the second tier to leave their devices on, hopefully with the ringers off, But at least they will be allowed to participate in Twitter and whatever other social media.
People will be tweeting. That
If
was
they
a
so
good
desire.
measure.
Yes.
But because we talked to the CIO of the San Francisco Giants, and they
Yes.
had that issue too. 50,000 people coming to watch the baseball team, and everybody wanted to bring their devices and be social and all that kind of stuff. I imagine it's a little bit more of a confined and more refined maybe atmosphere there, but people still want to do that.
Well, it's still a social experience. If you look at the way people tend to consume, if you will, their Symphony experience, people come with their friends. They show up in pairs, they show up in groups. So it's a social experience, and they want to communicate out what they're experiencing while they're there. So we think that this is a step in the right direction to really socially enable the experience.
We heard a little bit about big data today. Are you a consumer or producer of big data in your own mind, or are you small data?
We, in the traditional sense of big data around consumer data, I think we're probably fairly small data. We run BI in-house, so BI matters to us, our customer data matters to us. Where you talk about large amounts of data is really our recordings, which is a different story entirely. We have a massive amount of data that we're recording on a yearly basis, so that's where our big data is. But yes, we absolutely do run BI tools and use them.
Are you able to, a lot of companies are talking about using data, and I know you have some projects underway, better targeting, more on-time delivery, coupons, all that kind of stuff. Is that coming into play, or maybe you've already been there, done that?
Well, we're interested to see how consumers are consuming our product, how people want to buy their tickets. We were an early adopter of Foursquare's discounting opportunities there. We're really interested to see what our customers are telling us. So we're keeping an active eye on what they want and evolving as they do.
Maybe just last final thing, maybe some of the special projects that you've got going on there, technology-wise, what are some of the cooler things you're working on?
Well, from a traditional IT perspective, digital asset management is a big deal for us because, as I said, we record a lot of data. We have a massive amount of world-class content, Grammy-winning content, that we need to store and we need to organize. So there's some interesting challenges around that, making sure that's as accessible both internally and eventually maybe externally available. We also have another black and white ball coming up, so you never know what we're going to do for that.
Are you going to that, David?
No, I'm not going to be going to that. I got to head back to Boston.
It's a shame.
So, yeah.
It's a great
We'll
event.
be back.
Okay.
So, okay, well, Mike, Skaff, thanks very much for joining us here on
Thank you.
Valley View. We hope we'll have you back and maybe next year and you can talk a little bit more about how those projects went.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Great, thank you.